Greetings. Good to see you again. It's been a few days, I know, and I did promise that I was going to do a video every day last week, and I didn't, but I'm back. Hello, old friend. This morning I'm going to get the sky finished, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to do these wintry trees that are going to come in from this side and over this area here. Let's get on with it. So the sky here, because you've got trees coming over in this area and here, and I'll show you the photograph. Although I'm going to repaint the sky, what I'm going to do is these areas I'm going to try and do a bit thinner where the trees are going to go, so that it dries quicker and then I can get working on the trees. If I do it too thick, then it'll take a bit longer for that to be, well, not that it will fully dry of course, but it'll be a little bit too wet to get those trees done properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little bit of a sort of mark here with pencil dots, just to see where it needs to be thinner.
Life's too short to get it all right. First time around, you better not mess up. Wanna be born again, I want a second chance, 'cause this time around. Win or lose, it should be worth the fight. Heaven or hell, oh you better not mess up. Been through enough fire.
Right, so here we are now, started on these trees. Made a good start on them, but I just want to let you know how I'm doing them. I've mixed predominantly black, I suppose, but there's a little bit of burnt umber in there, a little bit of alizarin crimson, and it's fairly, I mean, I'm using white spirit here. It's quite runny. I don't know what sort of consistency you would call it, but I mean there's a lot of white spirit in that, to the point that you can get a nice sharp line, and it's got a really good flow. There's no liquid in it, so it's just purely white spirit. Now the sky I painted probably an hour and a half ago. I wouldn't say that was really wet anymore, but I mean you could rub it off with it. If I went along with my finger, you'd definitely pull a fair amount of it off, but it's certainly gone tacky. Now because the dark that I'm putting on here with these twigs is a lot more runny, it's going on, and it's not really affecting the paint underneath that much, so I'm able to get on those nice sharp dark lines without it picking up the sort of smudging in with what's underneath. If I kept going over the same bit, eventually, I don't know whether you can see there, but eventually it is starting to pick up some of the sky colour underneath. So you need to be, put it on without actually overworking it. So far what we've got here, and you can still see these two really obvious areas that were blocked in. So what I'll do now to make those less thick is I'm just going to put some of the sky colours just behind, probably a touch darker than that's here, but just behind, just to break it up a bit so they don't look quite so blocky. Now going back to that blue there, doesn't need to be exactly the same colour, just roughly right, and just put in a few little areas like that, just to break it up and make that look a bit more like the photograph. I'm going to continue to build up on this tree here because actually it's coming right over almost to the middle of the panel there. So I'm just going to bring that over, and then when that tree comes in from this direction, it will fill most of that sky apart from just this area here.
Tonight there's no way back. The whole town is all about summer, and we have enough wine to last us until morning light.
So now we've got everything in the right place with that, we shall get them done properly. So exactly the same technique as we used with this group of trees here, we're now going to use with this group of trees. Obviously there are thicker branches and things in this, and it is a little bit less sparse, it's not quite as full as that, but let's get going on that now. Because that paint underneath is, I mean, it's still tacky, I am going to be picking up a lot of the paint from underneath, so it'll make it a little bit lighter, and I need it to be quite dark. So the only thing I can do is once it's properly dry, I'll go over it again and just darken it up a touch.
Is it really too late? Oh, it's a little bit too much. We face so much trouble.
I've already started now putting in the smaller branches. Same technique as I used here. Now using the rigger brush, and because that's a lot softer and you can load up more paint on it, it's not disturbing that sky colour underneath so much. So you're not, it's you know, it's staying nice and rich, the colour. It's not becoming pastel-y because it's picking up that lighter colour. But we just need to build it up, and then we'll put in the snow that is sitting on top, like we did with that, with this area here, and should look pretty good.
Is it really too late? Tonight there's no way back. The whole town is all about summer, and we have enough wine to.
Right, so that tree is basically done now. I'm just going to put the snow on the top. That might be a little bit too light. Yes, it is. So all I'll do is just add a bit of black, and I'm using some Prussian blue. It gives you a really nice snow colour. Yeah, that's better. And just put it. In fact, just a little bit of that as well. It's perhaps a bit cool. A bit of that magenta. I think probably what I'm going to need to do is just darken up on some of these branches once it's dry. Just give you a touch more contrast, and that will help this snow on here to stand out a bit more. You only really got snow sitting on the bigger branches there, so don't need to put too much on. A little bit up here. So I'm just in clumps really. And then darker branches sort of running through it, which I'll do in a second. And then that will be the trees finished at least, and then I can get on with the rest of it, which will probably be tomorrow now. There, that'll do. So when I darken up some of these branches tomorrow, that'll help that snow to really stand out. And it won't hurt for that to dry now before I put anything else onto it, but there's not a lot left to do. I'll show you tomorrow what is left, or the rest of it. And once again this week, I know I didn't quite manage it last week, but this week I'm going to try and upload one every day, at least until the weekend. There we are, so most of it's done now. These smaller bits here are going to be sort of quite quick, and the snow at the foreground will be quick, but I might just lighten up a little bit of this sky here, but we'll see how we get on later.
Life's too short to get it all.